Have you ever heard of a book that's so old its origins are basically legend? A book that reads like a dry, official survey, but is absolutely packed with monsters, magic, and even prophecies? Well, today, we're diving into one of the weirdest and most fascinating texts ever written, the Shan Hai Jing.
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. That's the huge mystery we're unpacking here. This isn't just a bunch of random stories. It's this superstructured document that maps out a world that feels real, but is also completely impossible. It really makes you ask, what on earth were the people who wrote this trying to tell us? So the name Shan Hai Jing translates to the classic of mountains and seas, and its authorship, a total mystery. The legend says it was created by the mythical emperor Yu the Great, who supposedly mapped all of China after this epic flood. But as you're about to see, this map has a lot more than just rivers and mountains.
What's so wild is how incredibly organized it is. You'd think a book of myths would be a chaotic mess, right? Nope. This thing is broken down into 2 main parts and 18 chapters. It's laid out like a systematic geographical survey of the world, from the mountains right in the middle to the wildlands beyond the sea. It almost feels bureaucratic.
So what's it actually like to read it? Well, this is where things get truly weird. The book follows this very strict, repetitive formula for every single place it describes. It makes it feel like you're reading an authentic travel journal, like a surveyor's log from the field. The whole book is full of entries that sound just like this. Listen to the tone. It's precise, methodical, almost boring. Further east, 300 li. It sounds like a map maker just jotting down directions and distances. But what does our surveyor find when he gets there?
And bam! This is the book's signature move. Right alongside the boring geography, you get a 9-tailed fox, a bird that sounds like it's yelling at you, a plant that can literally cure jealousy, and a fish with a human face. It's not just geography, it's a catalog of wonders and nightmares, all delivered in the same deadpan, matter-of-fact way.
And you might be thinking, okay, that was a weird one-off, but it's not. This pattern just keeps going. Page after page. Again, we get a precise direction, a new location. Further east, 350 li. The book is hammering home that this bizarre structure is the rule, not the exception.
And just like that, we're back in Wonderland. At this spot, you'll find a beast that looks like a ram but has eyes on its back, and a bird that looks like it was put together with spare parts. But hey, like any good travel guide, it gives you a helpful tip. Eat this bird, and you'll sleep great. The mix of the totally mundane and the absolutely magical is just... it's mind-bending.
So as you can probably guess, the Shan Hai Jing is an absolute goldmine of mythical creatures. I mean, it's basically the foundational text for some of the most famous figures in all of East Asian mythology. So let's meet a few of the stars of the show, described exactly as they appear in the book.
First up, the legendary 9-tailed fox. The description is so straightforward, isn't it? It sounds like a baby, it eats people, but then you get the twist. If you manage to eat it, you'll be protected from evil spirits. This is classic Shan Hai Jing. Everything is both a potential threat and a potential resource.
But it's not all about monsters. Take the phoenix, or feng huang. It's described as a living symbol of virtue. The patterns on its feathers literally spell out words like benevolence and trust. Its arrival isn't a danger, it's an omen of peace and harmony for the whole land. It just shows you the incredible range this book has.
And then you get somebody like Sima Qian, the headless giant. I mean, what an image. He gets decapitated in a fight with a god, but his willpower is so strong that he just keeps on fighting, using his chest as a new face. It's grotesque, it's heroic, and it's totally unforgettable.
Okay, so after all that, you have to be asking the big question, the same one scholars have been debating for literally thousands of years. What in the world is this book?
Seriously, what are we supposed to make of it? Was this meant to be a literal, factual atlas of a world that was just weirder back then? Was it a shaman's guide to the spirit realm? Or was it just an incredibly elaborate work of fiction? You know, the world's oldest encyclopedia of folklore.
And hey, this isn't just us scratching our heads. Ancient Chinese scholars were completely divided on this. You had famous historians who called its stories absurd, but then you had others who said, hey, the world is a huge place. Just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not out there.
One of the book's biggest defenders was a scholar named Guo Pu, way back around 300 AD. And he wrote this incredible line. He's basically saying the problem isn't the book, the problem is us. Our own limited experience makes these things seem strange. He argued the Shan Hai Jing is really a challenge to our own ideas of what's real.
And maybe that's the key. Maybe it doesn't matter if a nine-tailed fox is biologically possible. The book's real treasure isn't as a map of actual mountains and rivers. It's something way more valuable. It's a map of the ancient imagination. It's a guide to how people long ago saw the world, their fears, their wonders, their beliefs.
So, what's the lasting impact of this bizarre, unclassifiable book? Why are we still obsessed with it thousands of years later?
Well, its influence is just massive. It's like the source code for a huge chunk of Chinese mythology. Countless stories, poems, and paintings pull from it. And today, modern fantasy novels, movies, and video games are constantly mining its pages for cool creature designs. It's this cultural well that just never ever runs dry.
In the end, the real genius of the Shan Hai Jing is that it refuses to be put in a box. It's not just a book of myths. It's not just a geography textbook. It's not just a fantasy story. It's all of those things at once. It exists in that amazing, blurry space between what's real and what's imagined. And that's what makes it so timeless.
Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. The Shan Hai Jing was this incredible attempt to map the wonders and terrors of an unknown world. So, in our own time, with digital worlds, AI, and new scientific frontiers, what are the strange new territories we're mapping? And what kinds of myths and what kinds of monsters will we find there?